Hey, so I am pretty sure we are live. I don't do this a lot, so I see a little live thing in the corner. We're good. We're good. Let me know in the comments if this actually is live. But welcome everybody to a super random late night live stream. The kids went to bed earlier than planned, which is crazy, and I don't really have a lot to do tonight, so I figured it'd be fun. And feel free to chime in the comments. Let me know any questions you might have that I might be able to answer. I'm just going to randomly talk until people mention any questions. But I got a puppy a few days ago. I'm coming up on almost a week now. I feel like tomorrow is going to be a week. Got a little Cocker Spaniel. So it's going good, except it's not potty trained, which sucks. So yeah, I spend a lot of my time. Actually, it's kind of life is good right now, actually, because I take the dog out to go potty and I hang out outside and it won't go. And my wife says, don't come in until the dog has gone potty. So I bring my book and I just sit outside in the perfect fall California weather and I just read for a long time and I wait. So it's pretty dope, got to be honest with you. So I'm happy that my wife fell asleep, that she can't hear that, but I'm actually getting something out of this whole hanging out outside by myself kind of thing, which is pretty awesome. So, and it sleeps, which is crazy. Sleeps at night, doesn't wake up at all. It's pretty awesome. Doesn't cry a lot when I leave the house. Life's good with the puppy, man. Puppy game, underrated. Underrated. I am... What else? What else we got here? Anybody say anything? Let's put a couple comments up. Let's throw some comments in. Good morning from Turkey. I always forget that not everybody that watches this is from where I live. It always surprises me when people are living very far away. But good morning. What time is it in Turkey, if you're still here? Probably, let me guess. It is, let's say, 11 hours. Is it 8 o'clock in the morning right now, Murat? I'm guessing 8 o'clock in the morning. What's up? I forgot how to say your name always, but always good to see you. One of the Discord regulars. And we are indeed in the double digits. We're 3 times past that. We good. The pigs say hi. You know, tell the pigs hi back. Guinea pigs, everybody. Unless you got something of the bigger variety. Hey, Matt, talk about super late. 1 a.m. here. Wow, 1 a.m. How's that possible? Where you live? I feel like anywhere in the United States, the latest it would be 12. Are you in South America? What's going on over there? What's up, Shad? How you doing, man? Shad, one of the very first people to ever comment on one of my YouTube videos. Good to see you. Thanks for sticking around. Florida doesn't get fall weather. What you got? What happens? And you just get humidity all the time? Is that what happens? I've never been to Florida. Dogs bring so much joy to your and family. Cocker Spaniel is my childhood dog, and they are so kind and patient, beautiful. I have Cocker mixed with Poodle now for less shedding. Yeah. Oh my God, the shedding. All my clothes is basically Cocker Spaniel fur. But yeah, the temperament of the Cocker Spaniels is so good. They are very patient. My wife is a mental health therapist, and she works from home in this chair all day. So it's basically her office. And well, she puts up a fake background so nobody can see all the fantasy books. And it just sits on her lap all day. Just hangs out the entire time. Just wants to be pet. Wants to be nice. So that's awesome. Felder started reading 𝐬𝐭 𝐲𝐿𝐽 about 300 pages in. Kuni and Mata are amazing. Bro, you are in for a wild ride. 𝐬𝐭 𝐲𝐿𝐽, everybody, was probably my biggest shocker of the year for how much I loved a first book to a series. It got it was on my Patreon. People on that put like a book in a raffle wheel, and every month I spin it, and whatever wins I have to read. And it won, and I'm so happy that it did. Who we got here? Hey, Matt, I have a question. How do you manage your time between job, private life, reading, and booktube? You said in another video that you were chief of staff for a politician. I am. I am that. So my job, because I'm chief of staff, I don't have to work full time. So I just kind of work when I need to. In general, I'm at the office a little early because let me lead you through a typical day. So I wake up at 6. I read for about an hour while the family slowly wakes up and tries to distract me from said reading. I drink my coffee, get the kids ready between 7 and 8, hang out, do some reading with them and going over math homework and all that jazz. Drop them off at 8:15, go to work. I'm at work by about 8:30. I work in town, which is awesome. Because I work as the chief of staff for a member. So I work in California for a California politician. So I live near Sacramento, which is the capital. Because I live so close, I can work in both the district office. I live in the suburbs of Sacramento and in the capital when I need to. So I try to work in the district office when I can, and then I go in when I need to. Then I go to work a little early, and then I'm usually leave a little early too for stuff. Like I coach baseball and soccer and stuff like that for my kids. And then I hang out with the family, read at night, read at lunch, listen to audiobooks when I'm driving around for my job and to and from work. And then my family goes to bed a lot earlier than me. So at that time, I read a little bit, play video games, and yeah, that's my day. Greetings from Thailand. Thailand. Nice. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody from Thailand on this. What's up, Dino? How you doing, man? Dino, one of the all-time greats on this channel. Hey, from Canada, it's midnight here. Yeah, where's 1 a.m.? What's going on with this 1 a.m. thing? Hello from Indiana. Nice. I drove through Indiana recently. I think I drove through Indiana. I went to my brother's in Michigan, and then we drove through southern Michigan to get over to Chicago to watch a baseball game. Howdy, howdy. What's up, Dan? Good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping in. Dan, I should have sent you a link to come hang out. Dan, if you want to come on and talk to peeps, send me a Discord message. I'll give you the link. Nova Scotia. Okay. It does hang out over the eastern side, doesn't it? Reading Wrath right now, and as excited as I am to see how this plays out, I will miss the Faithful and the Fallen series when I finish. Yeah, although you're not done, because there's 3 more books that most people don't really know about. The Of Blood and Bone series, which I find to be, while not quite as good, really dang good. I mean, I think I gave the first book a 4.5 out of 5, the second 2 books a 5 out of 5. But then you just get to go right into the newer John Gwen books with the Shadow of the Gods and Hunger of the Gods. So you got more to read. You're good. First time catching a live stream. Love the channel. Thanks. I think it's only like my 4th live stream. I don't really do live streams that often. It is very rare for me. What's up? Oh, Dan sent me a message. Dan, pop on in, bud. Who else we got? We got a Chicago in here. Nice. I have a question. Have you ever recommended some books to your friend and then they come out with being very picky and finding faults with everything that you recommend? If yes, how do you tackle? No, I don't really recommend books to my friends at all. They don't read fantasy. I have recommended a couple books to my dad who reads sci-fi. And I tried to get him to read some fantasy. I gave him The Black Company, which is a weird book to give somebody. But I was like, I bought it. And then I bought the wrong version of it because The Black Company, you can buy like the standalone Black Company book for like $5 used, but then you can buy like the omnibus version of the first 3 books for like $3 used. So after I bought the first one, I went and bought the omnibus, and then I gave my dad the first one, and he thought it was okay. And then I also gave him Small Gods from Discworld, and he thought it was okay. But yeah, I don't really recommend books to my friends. Shad, thanks for the Wandering Interviews. I'm loving the series. Looking forward to reading book 6. Nice. Yeah, I feel like I'm on the one man, you should read everything Wandering In train. More people need to read that thing, man. I feel like it's on the cusp of getting a lot bigger. I feel like, I mean, obviously not, BookTube doesn't drive sales or anything. It just gets some popularity around it. More like, I don't know, underground popularity. But a lot of people are starting to talk about it. I know Petrick's going to be reading it soon. I know Captured in Words is reading it. I know that Shades of Orange is reading it. So got to get more people on board. It's so good. Hey, Matt, you've probably gotten this 100 times, but have you checked out the Red Rising saga? I know you're not a fan of sci-fi, but it feels more like fantasy story times. Yeah, I like it. I don't love it. I felt like the first and second book was okay. I really liked the third book. Didn't like the fourth book, and then I stopped reading it. But I need to get back into it because everyone tells me the fifth book is really good. I don't know. Sci-fi is hard for me to get into. I don't know what my problem is, but I don't know. Maybe someday I'll get more into it. I was the one that picked Grace of Kings. Nice, dude. I owe you big time. That thing is, Dandelion Dynasty is my second favorite fantasy series of all time, behind Malazan and right ahead of The First Law. So I did not imagine that I would be finding a series that ranked up so high for me this year. So you rock. I mean, the Patreon raffle pick thing came in so clutch. I mean, I've found so many good books by just telling people to pick a book for me. So yeah, thanks, man. Talk to me. Yep, I did talk about it. Hey, Matt, you ever going to read manga? I'm not. I would personally love to hear your thoughts on One Piece and Berserk. Yeah, I'm not. I don't like pictures. I don't like comic books. It's not like a high and mighty thing. I just like to imagine things in my own brain. And I don't know. I feel like at this point, I might like it. Like everyone tells me to read One Piece, especially because I love boats. And it's got a lot of boats, I hear. Right? It's like a pirate crew. But it's like, I don't know. I feel dumb saying it, but it feels like there's like all this criticism against people that are doing book reviews that undoubtedly do the manga thing, because I feel like a lot of people that go read manga do it for views because it works, I think. I mean, there's a reason, I think, not to, you know what? I don't care. It's late. Nobody's watching my thing besides you 42 people. But you get these big people like Daniel Green and Murphy Napier, and pretty much like the bigger you are, the more you're going to read manga, because you start doing videos and it starts working. And I think it's like an addiction. Is you see it, it influences you and makes you want to do more when your viewers are getting more into what you're watching. And it makes me not want to read it. It makes me feel like I'd be doing something that would influence me in a negative way, and that people would really judge me in a negative way. And I'm not really into that thing. I've never read comic books. I know it's not a comic book, but I don't think you're going to find me reading it. I also don't really want to spend a lot of money on books. I'm super cheap. I don't buy books. It's super rare. I mean, I might buy like 5 books a year at most, because I get all my books from the library. I'm a member of like 20 libraries in California. Any book I want, I get for free on my Kindle. The books that I don't get because they're new, I'll just email the author and they'll send it because they want a review. So the only books I end up buying are books where I really want to read it and the author doesn't want to send it to me. And Will White books are like that. He doesn't send out ARCs for anybody. And I don't think he's super pleased with me because I really criticized his final book in Cradle. And I think it's like the top Goodreads review. And it's like a 2-star review. So I would feel bad asking him for any books also. So, and the books are so expensive, manga books. It goes against everything I kind of stand for when it comes to trying to be a cheapskate. Just finished Bone Hunters. Nice. So many other booktubers get burnt out around Reaper's Gale. Tell me to keep pushing. Keep pushing. Love Bone Hunter. Probably my favorite Molasses series. Let's bring in my man, Dan. What's up, Dan?
Hey, how's it
going? How you doing, man?
Good.
So everybody.
Echo in here. There, hold on. Yeah.
You in?
Yeah, I'm good.
Sweet.
So everybody on my phone.
If you're not familiar with Dan is a part of my Discord. He has his own booktube channel. I think you crossed 1,000 subs recently, or are you almost there?
I got 1,000, then I just plateaued there.
Yeah, I know the plateau thing. I'm familiar with how that works. But he just went through reading Malazan, and we have a Malazan question. Dan, maybe you answer this thing. So guy says, just finished Bone Hunters. Says a lot of people get burnt out around Reaper's Gale. Love Bone Hunters. I don't know. I didn't get burnt out.
Oh no, don't be afraid of Reaper's Gale.
So man, Reaper's Gale, I feel like it's slept on. I feel like a lot of people, for some reason, it's lower on people's list of favorite 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼 books. But I don't know what they're reading that I'm reading, because it is super dope.
I think on my ranking thing, it was like my number 3 favorite. Like, I love Reaper's Gale.
Yeah, I mean, awesome. I don't know how anybody could say they like Midnight Tides more than Reaper's Gale, because it feels like Reaper's Gale ties up all the things that got set up in Midnight Tides.
I think some people either have a problem with the first half of Reaper's Gale or the end, where a lot of people like all of Midnight Tides, but I still think Reaper's Gale's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like Midnight Tides, you know, set it up, and Reaper's Gale just hit it out of the park. But yeah, keep going, man. I mean, I read 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼 books. I read all 10 back to back without any break in between them. I wouldn't do that now. I'd probably space it out a little bit, but I didn't have any burnout when I read the 10 back to back. And it helped me keep my memory a little bit, because it's a hard series to keep track of if you spend too much time waiting in between it, unless you take a lot of notes. So yeah, push on through, Daryl.
I forget stuff so quick. Like, even after a week when I'm on to the next book, I've already like forgotten stuff. So I kind of needed to do that. But yeah, I can totally resonate with people burning out a little bit, because like, it's the biggest epic I've ever done. I haven't done anything near what I got out of 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼. So it was a little tricky, but man, I love Reaper's Gale, and 𝗏𝑗𝐿. I know, you know, it's my favorite of the whole series. So I think you just have more and more treats coming up. If you loved Bone Hunters, I think you got more to go.
I didn't watch your whole video, Dan, but I was surprised to see you saying, I don't see a lot of people saying 𝗏𝑗𝐿 is their favorite. I mean, my problem with 𝗏𝑗𝐿, and maybe it's the thing you loved, is it took the philosophy that were in the other 9 books and dialed it up to 11. And it just became a little heavy-handed for me. I get, his dad just died. I get that there's a reason behind it, but it just became a little heavy for me. And then I got to the last couple hundred pages, and it's like the best thing I've ever read. But I don't know. What do you think about the heavy dose of philosophy in it?
Well, I can see why people would find it a little bit of a slog, because plot-wise, so much of 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼 is just go, 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 and it's just exciting. But the thing I loved about 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼 is that it felt like for the first half of it, it's like it kind of slowed down, and I liked that.
Yeah.
And you could see some of our big characters in their kind of their downtime. You get some family life stuff with some of them, and it's just kind of a little bit of a slower thing, and you're seeing them not in their element, like fighting the battle and things. And I liked that. I loved it, but I can totally see why people would be like, let's get this going. Let's get this plot going.
Dan, are you planning on reading the other books in the universe? I'm thinking about like 𝐾𝐭 particularly.
That's the one people most point at, and they're like, you'll like that. You should.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very 𝗏𝑗𝐿 in the way that he presents the book. I feel like anybody that really loves 𝗏𝑗𝐿 is going to love 𝐾𝐭. So you got to give it a shot.
I love 𝗏𝗿𝐿.
All right, we got another 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼 question. Keep them coming. I have a question about 𝐬𝐼𝐼𝐼 Book of the Fallen. What do you think is an appropriate age to read the series? I mean, it definitely has adult themes to it. I mean, I think, I guess I could answer the question in a couple ways. In like an appropriate level, I think you just got to see what your maturity level is and whether you're okay with some darker themes. I mean, I don't think it's a dark inherently series, because it's got a lot of uplifting things to it. I mean, you constantly have this sense of hope and compassion bleeding through things, and for how much negative things, you get a lot of positive resolutions too. And
I think that's why I like 𝗏𝗿𝐿 as well. Just going back to that, it brought us to like our lowest point, and just where it takes us, it's like the biggest range of lows and highs. Yeah. I don't know what would be age appropriate. It's just up to, it's definitely an adult series.
Yeah, I mean, it's got some moments of, kind of graphic sexual violence. Not a ton of them, but they exist, and they're difficult to read. I think even if you're okay with that stuff. But I also don't feel like it's gratuitous. I feel like it all serves a purpose and makes you feel the feelings it needs you to feel about certain characters. I also think that it's, I hate when people say that it's like too hard. It's really hard because I think almost anybody could read it. And, I don't think you have to have a certain intelligence level to read Malazan, but, you have to be okay with investing a lot of energy into it because it's not a leisure read. I mean, you got to focus.
And there are things you can go to. Like there's the wiki, which is kind of really light. You can go in and get a chapter summary that's really small. It won't give you what you all that you need, but you could go there and kind of get caught up on some of the stuff you might have missed. But I don't agree with that either, that it's too hard for. I think it kind of gets that criticism because there's just a lot going on. I mean, for me, I found a lot of parts that were a little tricky, but it always pulls you back in at the end of the book. Like you're not just left in the dust where you don't know what's happening. I mean, that does happen, but by the end of the book, I felt like he always brings you in.
Yeah, I'm with you. So before I go to more questions, Dan, how's your weekend, man? What have you been up to?
Good. We got cast in a play, like my family. My two daughters. Well, my two daughters wanted to, like, the symphony in our town is doing Sound of Music.
Okay.
And my two daughters were wanting to audition and stuff, and my wife does all, and they were getting a little nervous. So I'm like, hey, why don't I audition with you? Thinking I'll just get like a Nazi role or something. Like,
yeah.
Put me in whatever. And I got a part. So it's been like every Saturday, it's 4 hours of this crap that I did not. So I've been learning these lines and like these songs and stuff. It's like, what the heck? So I've been doing that. I actually also started just before this. I read the prologue of Pillars of the Earth. I don't know if you've ever read that.
I'm not. I'm planning on reading it soon.
The prologue is very cool. And this is one of the things that I've been most waiting to read. So I'm so excited. Yeah, very, very cool. It's not fantasy as far as I can tell, but
no, but it seems like a lot of people that like fantasy like Pillars of the Earth.
There's kind of like a witchy sort of person in the prologue, so I'm not sure where it goes with that, but
it's it's historical fiction, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what somebody would probably be able to explain this better.
It revolves around like a cathedral being built, and that's really all I know.
Yeah, but like for some reason, historical fiction fans and fantasy fans agree on a lot, and I'm sure there's an obvious reason for it, but I don't know it.
Like, have you read lots of Bernard Cornwell stuff?
I've not a lot, but I have read Bernard Cornwell, and I love it.
I love it too. That totally intersects with fantasy fans, what they would like.
Yeah, I read the whatever they're called, the King Arthur ones.
Yeah, I haven't got to it. I've just done some of the Last Kingdom.
Nice. Yeah, I want to read that, and then I read Agincourt or Agincourt, or I don't know the name of how to say it. But
is that the one where they're searching for like the Holy Grail or something?
No, it's the one with the archers. It's like the French archers, and or the English archers, and a big battle with. I feel like it's like the most archers on a field at one time, and
then there's like a sharp something. It's like a civil war.
Yeah,
yeah. I haven't read those.
I feel like books with Genghis Khan is really into the sharp books, I think. Nice. Well, so are you humming that play around all the time? Or you can't get it out of your head?
No, I it's out of my head while I'm there. Like I didn't even figure I didn't even want to really be a part of it. But like, hey, come back to callbacks and prepare this song for us. Like, what? What are you talking about?
Dude, I got to tell you too, I don't say this creepy because I have a daughter, but your daughter in that video with your that you made recently, the ranking of the Harry Potter things, your daughter is adorable.
Oh, she's the best. Yeah, we read all of Harry Potter, all the books.
Did you guys read it like side by side or like read it out loud? Like how'd you do that?
I just read it to her. So nice. I read it to her at night. So Yeah, as soon as we got about halfway through the first one, well, actually, she watched the first movie, so we were just kind of pushing through. But as soon as she didn't know what was going to happen by the second book, then she was all in and she didn't want to stop.
How old
And
was
we
she when you
actually
started?
8, probably 8.5.
Okay, because my
But
daughter's
she,
7. I tried reading it to my daughter, and it was just a little like
I'm
we.
trying with my 7-year-old too. It's not working.
I mean, my problem is like we can't quite make it far enough to get to Hogwarts, and she feels like there's only boys in it.
Oh,
And
once she gets to Hogwarts, she'll love it.
yeah, and I told her that when we finish the book, we'll do a review together because she keeps asking me to do a review, and I told her she can keep the ad money from it.
Mm-hmm.
So she is very hyped about getting that sweet $5 or whatever it's going to be.
With my 7-year-old too, even reading it, like there's not really a lot of great hooks at the start.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, about halfway through, I think it'll reach her. We've been reading The Hobbit too with my oldest, and she's really loved that. Like she wants to go to like real fantasy stuff. Like she's kind of a little bit, she likes that kind of stuff. She's never really liked some of the stuff that seems kind of kiddish, and she wants real stuff. Like she gets the it factor on why fantasy is awesome, and she wants like awesome stuff. So yeah, she's great to read with. She'll have, I'm so excited.
I think I got to do that trick. I got to watch the movie with her, I think, to get the hook in. Yeah, I think I got to watch the first movie with her to be like, all right, this is what you're missing out on.
Mm-hmm.
And then get in, I think.
Have you read them?
I have not. I felt like I was too cool for them when they came out.
Yeah.
And because my girlfriend was reading them in high school. Mm-hmm. And it just felt like, I don't know, I was in that edgy stage of my life.
Oh, I used to make fun of it too.
I just felt like anything that was too cool, too popular, it would be dumb for me to do it. Like I just wanted to be contrarian about everything.
Yeah.
But I probably would have loved it.
But you've watched the movies?
I've watched a lot of them. That was my compromise with my girlfriend at the time, is I went and watched some of the movies, and then I watched some with my wife. I feel like I watched like 5 of them.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of petered out a little bit.
I think reading through, getting to enjoy it through a kid's eyes definitely made it better. But I think book 5, I legit really, really like. That's my favorite in the series, like the last few. But reading it through her eyes was awesome. Then there's like some hard things near the end where she was like, this is too much, because she's never handled deaths or anything like that in books. So it was like almost too much for her near the end. So I think I should have stopped. I would say like read the first few, and then it kind of ramps up.
Yeah, it gets dark.
It gets dark by book 4. It gets dark, and then book 5 like gets quite dark.
Well, I also, somebody was telling me that it was good to read them when they came out, because like you kind of grew up as the characters were growing up.
Yeah.
And so you were getting more mature and being able to handle the darker themes. But now reading it as a young kid is probably tough.
Yeah. My older one, like even I had to kind of, I would read ahead, and like there's some descriptions of people like dead with like lifeless eyes, and I kind of skipped through some of that kind of descriptive stuff. But yeah, generally she was okay.
Nice.
But I know my youngest one wouldn't be okay with it.
Cool. All right, let me get a few questions here. Any plan to read The Cuckoo by Leo Carew? Yeah, that's the third in the trilogy of Under the Northern Sky, and I will be reading that in December. So yeah, looking forward to that. Dino, I know you don't love TV and movies. Do you have some favorites? Man, I don't really watch a lot of TV and movies. I don't know. I gotta be honest with you. I watch like a lot of Disney with my kids. I watch what my family's watching, because I don't really I don't care as much, and so I just kind of read a book on the couch while they're all watching TV, and then whatever they're kind of watching, I just kind of take in a little bit. I do watch some trashy TV with my wife. Like we watch like The Bachelor and stuff. But I don't really care. I just watch it because she wants to watch it. I watch Survivor. That's about it. I don't know. I don't really go in the movies. I just watch like animated movies with my kids. I just do family stuff. I don't know. Dan, what about you?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I think the last thing I watched and got into is like Cobra Kai, because I really like Karate Kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, not really much more than that.
Like the last movie I went to was what's like the puppy one, like the stupid
Paw
movie.
Patrol?
Paw Patrol. I just saw
Yeah,
Paw Patrol.
we went. That was like one of my last ones too. So
Bro, it was so bad. I was struggling. I was struggling through Paw Patrol. I'll tell you that. I tried to get my kids to go watch Ninja Turtles, which would have been dope because I grew up on Ninja Turtles, but they're like, no, we want to go see Paw Patrol. So,
oh jeez.
Yeah, I lost that one.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got here?
Hey, do you have a read along coming up for what is it?
I'm doing Project Hail Mary.
Yeah, you're doing that?
Yeah, so I'm doing Project Hail Mary. I'm starting it up in like 4 days, I think, on like the 15th or so.
I'm excited to see what your Discord says about it. I really love it.
I feel like I've only heard good things. I mean, the only bad things I've heard about it are from like scientists that are like, yeah, the science is not right. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't know it anyways.
No, it's definitely you. Yeah, it's more about the character and stuff. He's great.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, the hard science stuff, you could just trick me. I wouldn't know.
Yeah. I never know if it is.
Yeah, I just read the first 2 books in like the I don't even know the name of it, but the 3-body problem.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds good.
Yeah,
it got me convinced. The sociology stuff. Anyway, we won't get into it, but
no, but you could have totally made up all that stuff. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I like Midnight Tides more than. Yeah, I mean it's a thing. I mean, I feel like people tell me that Midnight Tides is like the tightest plot, but it's got me. I love it. It introduces some of my favorite characters.
Yeah,
I love I don't know, Dan, what you thought about it, but I was kind of shook so I didn't read anything about the series when I got into it. I went in totally blind, and this whole idea that in the 5th book we're going to go to a new continent with no characters that you know.
I had no idea what to even think of that. I was like, should I be mad about this? Like, should I be mad that my 2 groups of people are not like coming together as one, and now we have a 3rd group of people? Like, okay.
Yeah, it did upset me, and then pretty soon I was like,
I love those characters.
I was like, man, I want to know what's up with Rulad. Let's just get going.
Oh my gosh, some of the best. Yeah, some of the best stuff starts in Midnight Tides.
Yeah. I struggle a lot with Reaper's Gale, but it's a great book. The political themes are excellent. Yeah, the politics in it definitely gets ramped up. Even I ate up all the politics in all the books when they showed up. There wasn't a ton of it, but it existed.
Mm-hmm. I think that was the one that I found the most political stuff from that one, though, even though it's everywhere. Yeah, I loved it.
Picked up Empire Silence after watching your reviews and Patrick's reviews. Such a well-written story. I'm at 60% in. Yeah, dude, it's so good. I'm blown away. Have you read any of Sun Eater, Dan?
Yeah, I read the first one, and it was a while ago, so I'll forget. I loved it, though. It was like right up my alley. I'm so excited for the rest. I have all of them. Like after the first, I just went and bought the rest of them. But yeah, I got into some other stuff and thought I got to just put this to the side maybe until the 5th book was out. And I'm just ready to. I love it.
I thought the first book was really good. The second book is mind-blowing in how much better it is. And there's a moment in the book that I won't say any details about, but I was very openly weeping. And my wife was just like, what's wrong with you? Like, what just happened? And it's like, you wouldn't understand, baby.
What happened to the kids? Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it. That's crazy. I had to force myself to read 1 Malazan chapter a day or I'd never have finished it. I mean, 1 Malazan chapter is not small.
Big chapter.
Yeah, big chapter. It's hard reading Malazan sometimes because it jumps around so much.
I think the only time my wife was like, what is wrong with you, was reading the first book in Faithful and the Fallen. I think it was Malice. It's like, I'm just not emotionally ready for this series quite yet. And I love the series, but man, if you want emotional stuff, that one really ruined me on a regular basis all the way through the series.
Yeah.
I love it.
Told How the Ending is the best of the series. Can't disagree. The ending was something else.
It just has so many things. Every page is like a new, exciting little treat. It's so great.
I knew I was in for a treat because I used the 𝐂𝐮𝐢𝐿 subreddit for a little while I was reading it to avoid spoilers because they're really nice. I mean, Reddit's a really nice community a lot, especially like when you get into these niche groups. And I would post every now and then questions so I wouldn't get spoiled. And I remember I was like 70% or so into 𝐒𝐿𝐢, and I made some comment, some post, and I was like, does something happen eventually in this book? I'm 70% in, and then all I got was just a bunch of LOLs.
Yeah.
Read Memories of Ice right now, loving it.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like everybody likes Memories of Ice. That's the moment.
I think in Memories of Ice, there's not a scene wasted. Almost. So good.
Yeah, I still think about that book a lot.
Yeah.
Have you pitched The Wandering Inn to this person? I don't know. Dan, have I mentioned Wandering Inn to you?
I've seen it pop up. I think I've seen a video of yours. That's not like the progression fantasy one.
It is.
Like. Is it?
It is, yeah. It's the really long one. It's like the longest fantasy series of all time.
Okay. No, I haven't picked one up.
It's crazy long. It's growing. So I read like 3 or 4 books a year of it, and I'm getting left behind.
Is it crazy long because they're big books, or are they a lot like Terry Pratchett and there's just a whole bunch of them?
It's a web serial that's getting converted into books, and this author just writes thousands of words a day, every day.
Nice.
And so it's like, I don't know, probably like 6 full-length books a year. You know,
I've only heard, I've seen like one video of you talk about it, and I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything about it.
I almost wish I wasn't into it because I get stressed out.
Commitment if it just keeps going like that.
I just can't. I just have to accept that I'm never going to catch up and just enjoy it. I mean, I've come up. I don't know what you think about this, Dan. I was talking to so I did a Dear Dr. Fantasy this morning, and I think you did that.
Yeah, I did.
And I was talking to Philip about this, and when we mentioned about how I think like too many people get caught up in a series that hasn't ended and stressed out about it and saying like, look, I don't want to read something like A Song of Ice and Fire because it doesn't have an ending.
Well, I can't tell you how many times I've just not even started a series when people are like, it has a crappy ending.
Yeah. I mean, but more like the books
or you'll never catch up.
But see, and I have this almost like radical stance where I'm like, who cares? Like, just enjoy the books. If I never read the last 𝐒𝐿𝐢 book, I'd still enjoy my experience. That doesn't take away from what I read. It's nice to get a good ending, but there's a reason something like A Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah, don't stop on book 9, by the way.
Yeah, that'd be dumb. But like, there's a reason that A Song of Ice and Fire, so many people say A Storm of Swords is their favorite book of all time, because it's good. It doesn't have to be a completed series to be good, but
yeah.
What do you think of 𝐒𝐿𝐢 and the character Druss the Legend? I read all Druss novels and I fell in love with the characters. There are like 4 novels of them. It's good. I just I didn't fall in love with it. I'm kind of biased against older fantasy for some reason. It just doesn't click with me like a lot of the newer stuff. I don't know. It just had a really old feel to it, and it got kind of samey. Like, I feel like the couple Druss books I read was reading like the same thing again, but that happens. Pillow of Earth, I hope you like reading about body hair. I mean, I got a lot of it.
Yeah, me too. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm good. If I like mixing both main series together, should I stop doing that after Return of the Crimson Guard? Heard that Dust of Dreams ends on cliffhanger, and it's better to jump into 10 right away. I think you need to read 𝐒𝐿𝐢 Book of the Fallen all the way. I don't love the mixing it thing, because you'll get ruined on a couple things, and it'll just be jarring because they're different authors and they write differently. And sometimes they're writing about the same characters, and it's the same character, but it's different. And so it's nice to read all of the Book of the Fallen and then just kind of go straight into the 𝐒𝐿𝐢 stuff and just read his version of it. And on a reread, I think it'd be cool to mix it, but first time through, you just got to stick to your thing. You've read some 𝐒𝐿𝐢, right?
I did. Dan? Knight of Knives.
I didn't like that one.
Yeah, it was kind of fun to get something lighter. I read it after Midnight Tides, and it was fine. I think I read it in just a few days. Like it's only like 400 pages, but it's small and big font and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I opened up Return of the Crimson Guard, I think after, I don't know which one, but it was just like another huge cast. I thought, no, I'm not doing that.
It's so dope. I love it. It feels very Эрikson in the best of ways. But yeah, Esteban's stuff can be a little hit and miss, but his good stuff is top tier.
Is that?
And one of his books is follows up on Toll the Hounds. It takes
there's a lot of weird stuff that happens,
but it just follows the �11 story, which is awesome because I love.
Yeah, that's my favorite stuff. That's like my favorite place in the whole series.
Yeah.
Love it.
Agincourt was the battle from Shakespeare's Henry V. Yeah, I mean, it shows you how much I read Shakespeare, but yeah, I think you're definitely right about that. What do you think of the Wheel Time slog, book 7 through 10? I just quit after book 8. I'm afraid to pick up book 9. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Have you read Wheel Time, Dan?
No, I have them all behind me. My buddy gave them all to me, and I just haven't started ever. Like I didn't get into. I wasn't reading fantasy through high school and stuff, so I missed a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, so the slog is real, but the slog was a big deal when the books were coming out because you'd finish a book that wasn't as good as the other ones, and not a lot happened, and then you had to wait like a year or two to get the next one, and that pissed people off. But now that you can just kind of keep going, it's not that big a deal. They're good. It's just noticeably slower. My 6-year-old likes the illustrated version, and we watched and rewatched the first 2 movies. The illustrated version of probably Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Yeah, I got that. That's the one I'm reading with my daughter. Is the illustrated?
Those big books?
They're big, so it's all the text is the same. It doesn't condense it all, but there's just pictures everywhere, which helps a 7-year-old brain, I think.
Where are you in the book?
We are at they're buying their supplies.
We're just right behind you then.
Yeah. They're in, I don't know, the Diagon Alley or something.
Right. Yeah.
But I feel we're close to getting.
I think you'll get into it. Like every kid gets into it.
How far away are we from, if I'm in Diagon Alley, how far away am I from getting to Hogwarts?
It's like next chapter. I don't know. It's like right around the corner. Yeah. It's the next stop.
I feel like she's going to like Hermione once she gets to meet her and some of the teachers. Matt, you should try to convince Dan to read Sun Eater. He's reading Sun Eater, so we're good. He's read it.
Yeah, I just got to reread the first one and I'll get back to it. I'm so excited.
Ashley, what's up, Ashley? Hey, Matt, I finished The Expanse, but I really thought Holden was an extremely weak character for a main character. Yeah, I have mixed feelings about The Expanse. I feel like I just don't like sci-fi as much. And some of it I like. It was okay.
Sorry, keep going.
No. Well, I mean, just with like hundreds of books for me to thousands of books for me to read. If I'm not loving a series, it's hard for me to want to keep going. Even if I don't dislike it. It's just there's too many things on my TBR just staring at me. Sure. It's hard.
Did you do Children of Time yet?
No, that's Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love that one.
I haven't. I'm doing what's the series? What's the fantasy series he wrote? Like what is his first things he wrote?
I can't remember the name of it, but I know. Yeah, I know the one.
I'm reading that one. I read the first book. I liked it a lot.
Because he wrote a bunch of those before sci-fi.
I feel like he wrote like 10
12
or something.
Yeah, and then like another dozen before he got published.
Yeah, and now he just does sci-fi, right?
I think so. I think he does a great job with it.
And he writes a lot, I think.
Yeah. I think you'll love Children of Time.
Awesome. Midnight Tides has Tethel and Bug. Yeah. It's the main reason you DNF'd. Oh, okay. We can still be friends.
Well, at least it's those two characters keeping you going.
Dark Forest got kind of repetitive on escapism. Not too much, but a little repetitive. I mean, I agree to disagree, I guess. I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know about the
I
escapism.
thought it progressed. You know, we were all. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he means by that.
A little repetitive. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I didn't feel repetitive to me. Felt like the plot kept moving. I feel like we had a bunch of distinct parts to the book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'll never forget the wall facer stuff. I'll never forget the. I'm trying to say things that won't spoil anything for anybody, but I'll never forget the space moments.
Oh my gosh.
One moment in particular that just made me have to sit back and think about stuff for a while.
I finished that book and I like put it on my table and thought, who do I talk to about this? Like this was a year ago when I read it, and I've tried to get so many people to read it, and I've got 3 people to start reading it. All 3 of them read the first book and they're like, yeah, I'm good. Like, dude, don't. You got to keep going.
So my dad's really into sci-fi, or has been historically, and I wanted him to read it because he's really into this, you know, thinking about alien life, and you know he's this old hippie that, you know, loves otherworldly kind of stuff, and I almost want to just like summarize 3 Body Problem for him and be like, here's Dark Forest, go read it. You know,
or give them like a chapter list of essential stuff, and then some of those kind of weird chapters, like a little summary or something.
Yeah. I made the mistake of, so I went out when I finished Dark Forest, I went on a date with my wife. We go out every Saturday night. We belong to like this gym that has like a parents' night out every weekend, which is awesome. And so we went out to dinner, and she asked me what I'm reading, and I told her about the Dark Forest. And then she's like, why the hell did you tell me that? And now she's like terrified at night now.
Oh, you like explain some of the stuff? It freaked me out a little bit too.
Just explaining it to her freaked her out.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's great. Like of all the sci-fi stuff, like a lot of stuff has blown my mind and changed my paradigm, but not like that book had.
Really. Yeah, no, it's something else.
And I purposely put off reading the last one just because I wanted to, like, I was still buzzing from the second book. It's like, let's just let this settle for a little while.
Did you read the last one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Your video you made on your channel about that, it was like a advert.
Yeah,
bro, that had me rolling. I watched that a few times.
Yeah,
that was too good.
No, I think it's so good, and the last one's good too. But you know, the second was just such a like a punch in the face. But the last one is great too, and it does ramp it up even more.
I'm so curious about the last one because it feels like the second one could end the series. I mean, you know,
it's definitely not ended though.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Oh man.
Can't wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's like I had to white knuckle the last bit because it gets like really out there. Yeah.
How does Wise Man's Fear compare to Name of the Wind? Is it worth reading knowing that book 3 might never come out? I mean, yeah, I love them. I actually like Wise Man's Fear more than Name of the Wind on a reread. You just got to accept that there's a couple of little weird moments in it, but every book's got some weird stuff in it. You never read Kingskiller, right?
No, I have both of them ready to go. I've never read them.
Do you just go on book buying frenzies?
I get them used a lot, and sometimes I'll get them just from like you know, I have a good used store where people will put in like brand new stuff, and you know, yeah, I get them used, and then for Christmas, the next day in Canada is Boxing Day, and stuff is on sale like crazy, and that's usually when I like to get a lot of stuff. But
so fill me in. What's this Boxing Day thing?
Just the day after Christmas.
What is it? What do you do on Boxing Day?
You just go and buy stuff way on sale. It's basically Black Friday.
Oh.
Yeah. So we'll go and we'll get some, you know, a lot of people are buying TVs and expensive blenders and crap like that. And like at a local Chapters or Indigo, whatever, like everything's half off. And
so you buy books in person. You don't go on like Amazon.
I will on Amazon, but I like to get a lot of used stuff if I can.
Yeah, back when I used to buy books, now I just read Kindle and get everything from the library. I I would only buy used if I could. I just don't find I like you.
I like having a book, but like really, there's no reason why I should have all these books.
Yeah, I mean, your room is packed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Is that an office you're in?
Yeah, it's yeah, I work from here as well. What happened is I collected a whole bunch of books in high school, but I was, I've always liked reading, but I was into sports and doing all this other stuff and dating. And then I had it all packed up in cardboard boxes in my furnace room at my parents' house, and they had like a water leak, and I lost just boxes and boxes and boxes of books. So over the last like 15 years or something, I've been trying to like recollect the stuff that I had lost, and I'm actually reading them this time though, but I still have a lot that I haven't read.
Are you at liberty to say, like, what do you do for work?
Yeah, I work for a hospital. So it's kind of like admin for, I guess, medical affairs, which is almost like a in between the hospital and the physicians. So it's a lot of recruitment and a lot of just doing their paperwork and that sort of thing. Like I handle there's a group of admins that I work with, and a lot of boring stuff, just office stuff where I can even just do it at home. But like I used to do stuff with our trauma department in one of the big cities up here, and it almost got too much. Like I would go into these meetings and we would talk about all this stuff that would like it was just hard to listen to that stuff at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So yeah, so now I just work at a hospital.
Nice. How's Greenbone Saga compare to Age of Madness? They're very different. I don't think they compare at all. I don't know what trilogy to do next. I mean, if you liked the first Law, go read Age of Madness. It's awesome. I love First Law so much. I'm doing a reread of them right now.
Oh yeah, I want to get back to that too.
Have you read them?
I've only read the first trilogy, and then I've had Best Served Cold on my list that I'd like to do, because one of my favorite books is The Count of Monte Cristo, and people have kept saying read that, but so I just haven't.
I'm reading Best Served Cold right now, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that one.
Abercrombie is such a good writer.
Oh, I
mean, it'd be hard to be a writer and read his stuff and not feel like you're inadequate, because he's just another level. And the humor in his dark humor really brings those books home. The characters in it are just so good. What do you got? I just started reading the Dragonbone Chair. The series is such a treat. I'm glad you like it. I didn't love it. I need to read it. I need to give it another shot. It was so slow. It's got that classic fantasy thing where it just really slow burn. And I don't know. I get kind of spoiled on newer fantasy that kind of starts off hot out of the gate. But I need to just trust that there's a reason so many authors say this is one of their favorite series.
Yeah, I see that too.
What's up, Midnight Chronicler? Whether it's because of views or otherwise, are you ever disappointed by video's performance? And how do you usually get over it and move forward? Do you ever feel like you need to question yourself? No, never. I don't care how many people watch my videos. I don't make videos for you. I make them for me. I make them because they make me happy. And if they're successful, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. And I really just, I make videos so I can talk about my hobby with people. I mean, before I made videos, I'd read all these books and I'd had nobody to talk with about them. And it made me sad, especially older books that aren't hot off the press. I just have to sit with my thoughts. And so now the channel's here, and now whenever I review a book, I have dozens of people that now want to talk about the thing I'm into. So yeah, I don't care. And, I think I'm very lucky in that I get money from YouTube from a variety of sources, but like, I don't count on it and I don't need it. It's just nice. It's cool. but I don't. If it disappeared tomorrow, I wouldn't care. I just like making content, and I don't put any effort into editing or anything. I spend like 5-10 minutes editing a video and pushing it out. So yeah, don't care. I don't want myself to. I don't want to get influenced by that kind of stuff either. I don't want to go. I talked about this earlier on like one of the reasons I don't read manga. I don't care about what other people are into or what is popular. I just want to read what makes me happy.
Yeah.
What about you, Dan?
Oh, I'm the exact same way. Like I will. I'm really. When COVID happened, I got really aware of I'm just going to do things that kind of, very balanced. Like try to not do things for anyone other than like my family, myself, and I will read all sorts of weird stuff. And if I was doing it for everyone else, I wouldn't have picked up like Crime and Punishment after reading 𝐒𝐿, because that's not going to do me anything on my channel. But like I've wanted to read it for a long time. So yeah, this is just a secondary outlet. If people enjoy it, that's great. If not, then whatever.
Who's your guest, Matt? Why don't you plug your channel real quick? Let people know how to find you, Dan.
Yeah, it's Dan Explores Books. I started because same as you, I was just reading a bunch of books and I thought, well, maybe I should do a book review thing. I think my first review I did was for the Count of Monte Cristo after I had read it, and then I had watched the movie, and I was like, I hate this movie so much. Everyone needs to read the book. And I went on and did that. And I did some reviews and things. And then it was 𝐒𝐿 that really got me doing like a whole bunch of videos as a kind of a, like a reaction thing, exploring some of the themes as we went along. So most of what you would find on my channel is 𝐒𝐿, but I mean, I've just finished it and I'm looking for some other series, even though I'm not done doing the side stuff. And eventually I want to do, go back into it and do some other things with 𝐒𝐿. But yeah, it's just kind of like a variety thing as stuff comes up, but I'm busy and it'll be super, not very consistent. Some days, some months I might do one video or no videos, and then other months I might do like 4 stupid videos in a day sitting at my couch.
Dan, did you have non-book stuff on your channel before? Because I feel like you plugged some weird videos. Well, I mean, you've showed me videos of like you hanging out with your alien friend.
Oh yeah. So I wanted to do this. Yeah, I did. Well, it was as like a joke. I did this stupid little talk show thing with an alien friend named Aaron.
Yeah.
Who after reading actually The Dark Forest, I thought I'm going to do a review where I got rid of all my books, and then I was freaked out. And while I was freaked out, I met an alien named Aaron who plugged me in to my belly button and like forced me to do a talk show. So I would start doing and I was reviewing books, talking to this mute alien that just wasn't like, it was so stupid, but it was kind of funny and it made me laugh. And I thought, I'm just going to halt this for a sec. And maybe it got really weird to the point where it was like, yeah, he would talk to me through the belly thing. And Aaron turned out to be like, I thought it was my buddy named Aaron, but it turned out to be like a girl and was like pregnant and like sending the baby back and forth between us. Like it was freaking weird. It was weird. And like it would knock me out, and then I would like spend thousands of years in this alternate realm just like sitting there until it like allowed me to come back. Like it was very sci-fi weird. And I've thought about it, but I don't have those up on the channel right now, but I've thought about what to do with that, because it was really fun to do. And some people were like, this is bananas. But some people were like, no, I don't like this. Like it was very odd.
You ever show it to your daughters?
Yeah. So, and that's part of the reason why I took it down. I thought, I do have a life. outside of YouTube, and I don't want to do something that's so out. Like I did 3 episodes, and like it was fun to do, but it was a little, I don't want to embarrass them or anything.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it was fun.
Suggestion when it comes to science fiction: David Zindel's Neverness and the follow-up trilogy Requiem for Homo Sapiens. Take your word for it. Never heard of him, but I'll write it down. Put it in the old TBR list. Not in terms of plot progression, but in terms of usage of the word involvement of the ideas before and frequently. I don't know what you're talking about, Fitz. Probably something we were talking about a little while ago. Is John Gwen worth reading? He was inspired by Tolkien and Gemmell. I think so.
Oh, man, it's so good.
It's awesome. I mean, it's obviously not for everybody. I don't think anything is, but sure spoke to me.
I think I could recommend it to tons of people, and yeah, a lot of people would like that. More people would jive with. More people would land there with John Gwynne than would with Malazan.
Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of recommending books for people, and I feel like I recommend this one a lot because it feels like a series where people have read a lot of books kind of similar, but they haven't read that, and very clearly they would love it because of the kind of other types of books they read. Kind of anything. If you like epic fantasy, multi-POV stuff, I mean, what's there not to like? If you like awesome battle sequences.
And like harrowing to the point where there's times where you don't even want to keep looking at that page because something's coming, that you see it coming, and you're like, I don't want this to happen. I'm so nervous about this favorite character of mine. Please, John Gwynne, don't kill my favorite characters. He does that a few times to you.
It also does this thing. I don't want to say the name of the characters because I don't want to ruin anything. Mm-hmm. But there's a character that I don't know if I've ever seen this happen in a series before, where the character's brought up and doesn't have a point of view. And it's like, oh, there's this another bit part character, there's dozens of them. And then you get a point of view of the character and you're like, okay, they play a little bigger part to the story. And then by the end of it, you're like, all I care about is this character. I want more of this. It's like everybody's favorite character by the end of it.
I'm trying to think of who you even mean.
I'll send you a Discord message, but if I mention the name, you're being like, oh shit.
Yeah. I have one favorite character I'm thinking of. It might be that person.
Matt, will you ever read more classic books? No, I'm just not a classics fan. I mean, there's value in it, but you got to read what you're passionate about, I think, to keep interested in reading. And I don't want to get burnt out. You read some more classics, right, Dan?
Yeah, I read a bunch of, like, this whole side is all classics. I really like it.
All right, I'm going to fire through a few questions and then I'm going to call it a night. Let's see here. Does it become irritating getting all these recommendations, Matt? No. I like people caring enough about what they're into. And every now and then I'll read something based off recommendation, or usually when I get it a bunch, I've read a lot of books like that. And it almost always, you guys know what you're talking about. A lot of times you hit home runs. Do you like Mistborn Era 2? I loved Era 1 almost as much as Stormlight. I did not love Mistborn Era 2. I don't know. It just didn't vibe with me. Do you read these books?
After me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read the first 3. I read Era 1. Really liked it a lot. I thought it was great. If I had to recommend a fantasy series, might as well start with those 3. And I've read the first 2 in Stormlight, as well as some other Sanderson, like Warbreaker and Elantris.
What do you think of Stormlight?
Oh man, it's don't want to get canceled, but I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I did like it, but then everyone said I was going to didn't say to me because I wasn't doing videos about it really, but everyone said how much the second book is just amazing. And I have specific reasons why I didn't love it that, you know, I think I was I don't know. I don't want to talk about it too much, but I was maybe hoping for a little bit Frodo and Sam, because I'm more of a low key sort of fantasy.
Uh-oh. Did I lose Dan?
Book. Like, but I'm the total outlier. Like, everyone loves it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the most popular fantasy series out right now. I also think that I don't understand when people say, like, just wait until book 2 on that, because it feels like book 1, all the books
I like book 1 more.
Yeah, I mean, they're you're not gonna like all of a sudden fall in love with it in book 2, I feel like, because it's a lot of the same kind of stuff and it's a writing style thing. But yeah, I don't think you're gonna get canceled for it. I mean, I don't love Lord of the Rings, and I feel like that's a way more controversial opinion. I hear a lot of people say they don't love Stormlight though, especially if you're like really into certain types of fantasy, because it's got a very different vibe.
I like it, but I read it early on in my fantasy kind of beginnings.
Yeah.
You know, it just maybe wasn't hitting the right notes for me at the time.
Yeah, I hear. All right. This is a question specifically for me. My favorite character in The Wandering Inn is, I don't know. I like a lot of the side characters. I like, I'm going to say the Emperor. I like the Emperor a lot. All right. Let's fly through a couple more of these and then let's get out of here. Sam, I thought Words of Radiance was about as good as Way of Kings. Don't get the Words of Radiance hype, to be honest. Yeah, I liked it a little bit more, but it's a lot of the same. I mean, I'm a sucker for first books in a series. I like learning the world, and it's a fun world. It's very imaginative, and I mean, this whole, you know, I'll never forget kind of learning about the, I don't know what they're called in the book anymore, but like the trenches with the beasts inside of them, and it's just really captures the imagination in a good way. But you know, once you know,
I love the Bridge Crew. What were they called?
Man.
Were they just called the Bridge Crew? Love them.
Bridge 4, right?
Bridge something.
Yeah. We canceled Dan. All right, sorry, Dan. We canceled.
My third Dan and Aaron show was the first Stormlight.
Yeah, Chasm and Chasm Fiends. Sorry, guys. All right, so I'm caught up. Let's end there. How about that, Dan?
Sure.
Dan, nice chatting with you. Thanks a bunch.
All right.
Have a good night. Thank you, everybody. We'll have to do this again sometime.
All right.
Stay safe, everybody, and I will see you all soon.